Good morning, everyone. Well, I took the carburetor apart, the Bendix carb from this 1970, and I ended up soldering the end on there because it kept fraying. And it took a little bit of the casing off because it's a little short. So, well, let's see. I did find some extra correct seals for the shafts. Go in there and there, which are number 9 and 33. Now, why they look the same to me, why there's different numbers. There's no part numbers on this, you just get a kit. Luckily, I got that kit with all the stuff I got with the bike. Now this is for the carb that actually was on it, but that's the Bendix one I put on. So I've been going through my parts, I picked out the best one, and I did get, I had ordered these from, I forget where it was from, Bulgaria or something, if I remember right. But they're like 11 millimeter, let's see, they're 11 millimeter, a little bit over on the outside, and the inside is about 6.26 millimeters. But they were a little snug on the shaft. The other ones are actually physically a little bit bigger. Those are the two small ones. And I don't know where I put the others. One was literally, it fell apart like it was wood. So, just going through, this is a B carburetor. And apparently if it's stamped just randomly, that was done by the dealer when they did an upgrade of some sort. And then this one is an A. Now that one's more at the end. That would mean this was something done at the factory, as I've been reading. I got the C in there, which is the largest. The B would have been for Sportster. I don't know, they made like 4 different styles, but I don't know what the one I have on there. I went through it and put it on there, but it didn't save any of the information. So, yeah, that one's just, like I say, I find out if it's just randomly stamped, it was from the dealer. They done something to the carburetor. So at least these are the 38 millimeter, and you can see the 38 in there. And if that doesn't have it, it'll have 4 holes instead of 3, or it has 1 more hole than the 36 millimeter. So I got one of those cheapy $10 kits coming. Maybe some parts I can save. They say the plunger's way too long. So we're just picking out kind of the better stuff to do on this. So I think I can actually, because when I moved this before, it was real slow to move. You put it here, go, so they were way too tight. I mean, you want them tight. You don't want any air infiltration. That's the problem. I mean, I don't know if I saved. No, probably did the little teeny, the part. It was like rock hard, and on both sides. And I used the kind of to keep them better, that reseal. I let it soak in there. As a matter of fact, I got one soaking in there now. One of the ones I took out of the choke side. And there's like a take it out, and here's not a cup, but it's like a little washer, and you stake their metal washer. You stake it back in there. So hopefully it'll run good. It's been a learning process of, I'd like to get maybe a little bigger main jet. I have the next size up, but this is probably fine. They made like 4 or 5, and then they changed the numbers as they got into the 70s. A lot of people, use the adjustable main jet, but they tend to leak somehow, or you're always fiddling with it. Oh, that's the heater. Matter of fact, put the heater in last year. It's like, I don't know how many BTUs. It could be a little bigger, but it's best to have a furnace run longer than to cycle on and off, just like air conditioning. Because I used to tinker around and worked for Harold, and that's one thing he always said, that it's best if it, the thing runs longer than off and on, off and on. So, like I say, it could be bigger. It's fine. It heats this area up. As you walk back here, it's kind of shooting straight down here. That's why I moved my tables over there to work. Over there, it's cooler. I got a piece of plastic I put over that, the second and third part of the garage. But I thought I was going to maybe just throw the S&S on there. I would throw a CV carburetor on there, but don't have the adapter. But I'd like to stay with original, even though this had a Tillotson. In 71, I think, or 72 is when they started putting the Bendix on, and I always liked the Bendix. Very simple. Gets pretty good gas mileage, So one of these days, I'll actually, when I get it all done, I'll figure out what kind of mileage. I'll go like certain miles and then check to see what's left in the tank. And it's kind of fun to do that. But, well, that's about it for today. I think this, like I say, it's snug in the shafts. And I think I'll be pretty lucky. A lot of people take the choke one out. And it's probably true. This one likes a lot of squirts and then a good kick, a couple of prime kicks, and if it doesn't start, wide open throttle, and then just let off the throttle right away. So it's a learning process of learning how it starts and stuff. And I wouldn't mind having a 4-speed on the 80. But I'd have to sell that Sputh transmission, the 5-speed. And then be down for a while, and then I'd have to hunt for a good, one that I don't have to rebuild. And I've never done that with a transmission. It seems to be somewhat, it ain't like an automatic. So that's what I've been at, and I'll catch you guys later. Stay warm and safe, and it's supposed to warm up a little bit as the week goes on. Hope we have a mild winter wherever you're at. I hope you have mild winters, and we can stay on the road as long as possible. Catch you later. Peace. Hope you get that figured out, Ed, the front end. Yeah, it's I don't have any other than letting you know what I thought. So, and then everybody else, bye-bye. Slick, and thanks for Kraken for shouting me out, as they call it. I'm not the best in all that jargon. I just do this to, I guess, remember what I did 10 years from now if I'm still around. Oh, look, that's what I did. That's the simplest way to save it, I guess, for posterity. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye, and gals. Bye-bye.